What the fuck is up, everyone? This is Lamo. Look at my opinion on Twitter, and this is my first ever podcast. Gonna go ahead and do this because I'm feeling inspired, and yeah, basically the things I'm gonna cover today is I'm gonna rant for just a little bit, and then I'm going to give you my fight picks for Lee versus Oliveira tomorrow. Super stacked card, and I feel like I should do all the picks, even if I'm not the most informed on a lot of the fighters. So yeah, anyway, first thing I want to rant about is Izzy versus Romero. I'm seeing a lot of bullshit on the timeline today where, you have your typical fighter haters who, no matter what they do, they're always going to find a way to shit on it. I get that. But there seems to be a lot more really uneducated and stupid opinions about, Izzy's scared of power. Izzy can't lead if you don't give him what he wants. And, Izzy really doesn't have world-class striking. Just awful dog shit takes that have no basis in reality whatsoever. So I figured I'd just get my take on the fight. It looked like both of them were trying to counter-strike, which I think everyone knows. But I see a lot of Izzy was running away takes. Izzy was not running away. He ran away from flurries, but that's kind of expected when your opponent is as fast and hits as hard as Romero. But for the most part, Izzy was the only one actively feigning, shifting angles, trying to find openings. And to Romero's credit, I give him shit about his defense a lot, but when he completely shells up and focuses directly on defense, he's pretty good at it. He's able to use a high guard, cross-arm guard, and parry a lot of those strikes that were coming in. A lot of Izzy's kicks were deflected off the elbows. Really good stuff, to be honest. Now, I don't know how much we can really value that whenever Romero is being strictly defensive, but I still feel like it counts. And with that being said, I thought that Romero won the first one by one punch, that solid overhand that he hit Izzy with that spooked him. And yes, I said spooked him. I do think that once Izzy got hit, he was like, okay, well, fuck this. This guy is literally standing still. He is waiting for me to commit to a punch, and he's going to counter me for it. And Yoel did a great job of that. Izzy threw a hook, Yoel slipped under, blasted him with the overhand. It was beautiful work, to be honest. But that's what Romero was doing. Romero wasn't drawing out these counters. He was literally staying still, hoping that Izzy's like, okay, I need to win the round. I'm going to throw some punches, and then I'll counter. And I think Izzy recognized that early on, combined with the, oh shit, Yoel Romero just hit me in the face, and it fucking hurts. And round two is the swing round for a lot of people. That's where people scored it for Romero. But personally, especially after rewatching, I just can't see that. I think that Izzy clearly did the better work, attacked the body more often, and arguably landed the best punch of the round whenever he countered with a straight punch as Romero pressed him against the fence and ducked under the counter overhand from Romero, and Romero's head snapped back and he stumbled backwards. That was an extremely hard shot. And yeah. And then rounds 3 and 4 were clearly Izzy. And then round 5, I scored for Romero. I saw that the judges gave Izzy round 5. Not really sure about that, but I could see it because Izzy did do some good work in that round. So maybe cage side it was different. I don't know. All in all, I think that Yoel fought a strategy where he was just waiting for Izzy to make a mistake. And he seemed to echo these statements before the fight. Giving comparisons to Adesanya and Muhammad Ali, saying Ali had the best moves in the heavyweight division, referring to how Adesanya has the best moves in the middleweight division. And I think Romero was just waiting for him to make a mistake and trying to capitalize on that. And Izzy, to me, was the only one that was actually trying to fight in a way. Obviously, he could have just went off the fuck it. I'll just throw 5-punch combinations and go after this guy since he's standing still. But why would you do that when your opponent is not only capable of landing that counter punch, but is only looking for the counter punch? That's all he was doing. So why wouldn't you just kick his leg off? Izzy outstruck him, and Izzy did more damage. I just don't see an argument for Romero winning. And if Romero wanted to win, I think he could have won. I think if he just ups his output a little bit, maybe goes for even a couple of clinch positions. Like, he can land offense off the break. Like, I don't understand Romero's strategy, but I do think that most of it was rooted in respect for Adesanya's countering ability. So I've said this before, and I really think this rings true, especially for this fight. Pretty much any Yoel Romero fight. Yoel Romero is the human embodiment of the peak end rule. If you don't know what the peak end rule is, Wikipedia it right now. Look it up. It is a psychological phenomenon where people don't judge things by the entirety of the event, but rather what they felt at its peak. So when you see Yoel crash forward and throw a flurry, you're like, oh shit, he could knock him out. He could knock him out. But in reality, he missed most of that, and Adesanya wasn't close to being knocked out. Like, that's just the reality of it. But because it happened and gave you such like a climax moment, you're not thinking objectively. You're not looking at it and go, okay, well, Adesanya still did the better work. Like, maybe if Yoel would have wobbled him on one of those punches or done any sort of visible impact with them, then maybe you could score it that way. But, yeah, pretty clear Adesanya win, in my opinion. And everyone that says he was running is not only a hypocrite, but insanely stupid. So I think now that that's over, we can get into the fight picks for tomorrow's card, Lee versus Oliveira. I just felt like doing this on a whim. I'm not super educated about a lot of the fighters, but yeah, I'm just going to make picks based off the limited knowledge I know, and the fights that I do know, I'll get into a little more detail about them. First fight we can get into is Macedo versus Malecki. They're both pretty early in their UFC careers. Malecki is actually early in her MMA career. I'm pretty sure she's 3-0. But Veronica appears to be the better athlete, but she's at a significant height disadvantage. But I think the big question is, can I trust Malecki to be smart enough at 3-0 to use her reach advantage appropriately? Probably not. So with my gut instinct, not a lot of film study, I'm going to go with Macedo because I think that she is a better athlete, like I said, and she's going to have more tools to bring to the fight. I could just be wrong and she gets shit kicked from distance, but I doubt that's going to happen. Next fight is Silva versus Dvorak. This feels like a stepping stone match for David because he is a hot prospect coming out of a regional scene, and this is his UFC debut. And Bruno Silva lost his UFC debut, and now they're throwing him to another prospect who is supposed to do great things. So this seems like matchmaking designed to prop up Dvorak, and I think Silva, if he loses this, he's going to get cut, especially because they're competing at flyweight, and the UFC hates flyweights for some reason. So, yeah, I'm going to go with Dvorak here. I think that he's probably going to be more well-rounded with a significant experience advantage. And the next fight would be Silva versus Moros. Moros is a bit of a hit or a miss fighter. She typically loses to her more talented opponents. Silva has been out for 2 years, but she's proven that she's dangerous from the bottom. She submitted Jillian Robertson, who I think has one of the better top games in that division at that level. So that shows that despite her, inexperience in MMA, she's able to secure submissions on people who understand top position. And so I can't make this pick in good faith because I haven't extensively studied these people. But I'm going to go with Moros because she's going to have more experience. But I'd love to see Silva win and build on that momentum. And the next fight is ZDS versus Konchenko. ZDS is fresh off his back-and-forth bout with the Leech, and he got finished late in that fight after a back-and-forth fight. And those are usually the most dangerous to a fighter's career because not only are you taking, minor concussive damage as you go through the war, but you're finally getting it, capitalized by major concussive damage that puts you out of action. But yeah, ZDS, as we all know, he's a super sharp and he's really entertaining striker who's always dangerous, but he's not getting a tune-up fight here because Konchenko is just coming off a loss to Gilbert Burns where he seemed to be taking over in the third round. Think like Shevchenko versus Nunes 1. Something like that, or Yoel Romero versus Paulo Costa, where, they obviously won the fight because they won the first 2 rounds, but, if it was a 5-rounder, then they'd probably get finished because they look like crap. But yeah, as much as I love ZDS, I can't pick him here because I think Konchenko will make a statement in this fight. I think that he's a really solid fighter, really durable, and has good cardio. Now, I wouldn't be surprised to see ZDS pull off some crazy capoeira moves and steal the rounds in the judges' eyes. That is totally a possibility. But yeah, I'm gonna pick Konchenko here. Yeah, not much to say about Marcos versus Rebus. Rebus is a better prospect, but I don't like watching Marcos fight much. So I hope she loses. But yeah, I don't really care too much. You know, this is one of those fights that I'll probably get a snack for. And next, Formiga versus Moreno. I am excited. It's the best fight on the card, in my opinion. Uh, this is going to be awesome, in my opinion. Now, the only thing that could make it not good is if Formiga uses his extremely high fight IQ to stall this out. Moreno coming in, trying to attack, and Formiga has a clinch entry that really stalls out Moreno's offense. Now, I've been watching Moreno fight for years, and his striking has sharpened up to something I never thought was possible. It's honestly on par with his opportunistic grappling, and I think that if he beats Formiga convincingly, he's a legit title challenger. And I just can't believe how good Moreno looked against Cara France, and I really think this is going to be a great, great, great fight, and I can't stress that enough. And it's just another way to show you that how they don't promote flyweights, that this is on the prelims of an ESPN card whenever Francisco Trinaldo versus John McDessie is the opening fight on the main card. Nothing against those fighters. Trinaldo's good, but I mean, this is a legit top 5 matchup in the flyweight division that's going to be great. I don't see why the hell it's fucking on the prelims. But, you know, flyweights are little. No one gives a shit, I guess. So my pick is Moreno because I really want him to win, and I really think that he can do it. I know that he's younger, he has the talent, but Formiga might be too crafty for him to get past, and that's the only thing I'm worried about. So I wouldn't be surprised with either man winning, but I'm going to pick Moreno. And on to the main card, Francisco Trinaldo versus John McDessie. That is a good fight. Francisco Trinaldo is a bit old, but he is a solid fighter, well-rounded skill set, very crafty. I love watching Trinaldo fight, so I'm not opposed to this. But I do think it's pretty criminal how that's ahead of Formiga and Moreno. McDessie's done some great things in his career, but he's also extremely limited. I just simply think that both guys are probably past their athletic prime, but Trinaldo is a better fighter. So that's who I'm going to pick in that one. Johnny Walker versus Krylov is guaranteed violence. Krylov is going to try to hurt him with punches and kicks, and we don't know what TriStar Johnny Walker is going to be, but I'm just not ready to think that he's automatically going to become this measured fighter who could really channel his athleticism into statement wins. And I think that Johnny Walker has been exposed multiple times as having a less than optimal chin for the light heavyweight division. So I think Krylov cracks him, finishes and puts him away. But nothing would be cooler than to see a measured, more technical Johnny Walker, because that's a guy that's scary for the light heavyweight division. So yeah, my pick's Krylov. And moving on to Moicano, this is a fight that I am looking forward to as well, because I'm ready to see the return of Moicano, see what he's going to do. Because I don't know, because he's getting a tune-up fight. His opponent alternates between wins and losses almost all the time. So I'm really hoping Moicano pulls this one out. I haven't done a lot of research on this fight, so I can't give a confident answer, but I'm really rooting for Moicano. So that's my pick. It's not a very educated one. You might want to do research yourself if you're going to bet on it. Damian Maia versus Gilbert Burns is a great fight. Finally, Gilbert Burns is done beating up on gatekeepers, and he finally gets a good, recognizable name. Maia's way past it, let's just be honest, but Maia has a weird, unique ability to fight into his 40s because his grappling is just so goddamn good. And it's just something that a lot of people still haven't figured out because he's just so competent in it. But I do think that Gilbert Burns is powerful enough to avoid getting choked out. I think that he's going to stuff all the takedown attempts easily. I think he's going to put away Maia with strikes, because I think that Gilbert Burns is just a more well-rounded fighter, and Maia's old, and I just really see this one ending by TKO for Gilbert Burns. and Kevin Lee versus Charles Oliveira, Du Bronx, the main event. Something I've been looking forward to for weeks. Really rooting for Charles Oliveira here. I like Kevin Lee. I think he's cool. He's got a swagger about him. He's got good abilities, good top control, developing his striking. I think that he's got a higher ceiling than Charles Oliveira. But goddamn, I love Charles Oliveira so much. He's so good. And the fact that he's already a potent submission artist in MMA, he's also developed a striking game that has countering in it. He can counter people. It's so dope. I'm so excited to see this guy perform. I'm really hoping that he gets the win because I want to see how far Charles Oliveira can go now that he's a more well-rounded fighter who won't quit when he gets behind. Like, I'm so excited for this fight. So yeah, my pick is Charles Oliveira. I think that he's going to be a little too slick on the feet, and I think he's going to counter Kevin and hurt him really badly and choke him out. So yeah, Charles Oliveira is my pick in that one. And that should wrap it up, guys. I'm hoping that you really enjoyed this. This is my first ever attempt at podcasting or whatever the hell this is. And I'm hoping you enjoyed my presentation. Like if you liked it, dislike if you didn't. Comment, tell me what I can improve on, some of the things you might want to hear in the next podcast, anything you want to leave. Like, any traction is good, any criticism is good, any exposure is good. So, yeah, I appreciate you guys for listening, and peace out.